Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about an article that I've seen on Screen Rant that I'm very interested in talking and creating a discussion out of this. And by the time I am reading this was published yesterday for me, which would have been August 20th for me by the time I'm recording this video at 12:30 in the afternoon. And the article, you guys might be wondering, is could TMNT succeed where Sony's Spider-Man failed? Excuse me. Who knows? Who knows? Let's find out, shall we? To what this person has to say, this Joshua Christian McCoy has to say. As the cinematic universe concept continues to gain popularity, new entries are going to attempt to shoulder their way into the already overcrowded market. I do agree. It seems like the shared universes is getting to be a little bit overcrowded because like every franchise sees what Marvel's doing, and they want to essentially copy what Marvel's doing in terms of, hey guys, let's have a shared universe. Hi, yeah. And as cool as that might be, it is also cool to have standalone movies that doesn't really connect to the already established franchise in terms of like movies or shows. Like that's part of the reason why I feel like the Joker succeeded so much, because it wasn't attached to the DCEU. It was its own thing in its own universe. It wasn't connected with the DCEU. It was great, and it was a good movie too. So I think like movies like The Joker is really good because not really connected to anything. So there is also a power of having movies being movies. I'm going to keep it to movies, where movies can be in their standalone universes. It doesn't need to be shared with like Morbius. Oh my god, will Morbius be connected to Venom that will later on connect to Tom Holland's Spider-Man that will also potentially connect to Daredevil, which will connect with the Ninja Turtles? Who knows? I know Ninja Turtles ain't Marvel, but you guys get what I'm talking about. And with that said, swig of water for the working man. Let's continue. Every big name from the 20s to the 90s seemed poised to put out an ever-expanding film franchise. But not every attempt can hope to succeed. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles brand has a comfortable presence on a major media platform, from cartoons to comics to video games and beyond. Their appearance on the big screen have been somewhat limited as of late, thanks to the controversial recent entries. I mean, I don't know if Rise of the Ninja Turtle movie is controversial at the moment. I think, at least from what I've heard, I also watched the movie as well, but I think like Rise of the Ninja Turtles has been so far, or for the most part, well received. Unless if they're talking about the Michael Bay Turtles, then yeah, that's like I have split opinions about that. Anywho, Turtle fans shouldn't be waiting too much longer because Paramount is preparing to put out a ton of new features. Out of TMNT projects currently in the works, the big name is Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's upcoming animated film, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. That film is scheduled for next August, and it's far from the only film of its kind. Paramount is attempting to rebuild their brand after the difficult legacy of Michael Bay's tenure of the franchise. Okay, so they were talking about the Michael Bay Turtles. Okay. Bay and most of the film stars are under contract for a trilogy, but no third entry is coming. Instead, Paramount is planning to reboot Instead, Paramount is planning a reboot of the live-action Turtles, announcing last year that SNL funny Colin Jost and his brother Casey have signed on to write the script. In addition, Paramount has also stated that they would be producing a series of solo movies for some of their most popular villains. Really? Why am I just hearing about this? And this channel is literally half of it is upon to the team and to the Ninja Turtles. My channel is Phil TMNT, and I'm just hearing about this. Okay. Almost nothing is known beyond that, but it does raise some interesting questions. I don't care about this Spider-Man trailer. Okay, those who follow genre film would recognize a similar strategy as the one currently kills Sony's Spider-Man universe, also known as the SSU. After the mild, I guess that means Sony's Spider-Man universe. Anyways, after the mild financial success of Venom, a film that many fans were demanding for decades, the SSU has made a series of bizarre choices. A crowning achievement was Morbius, which released a disappointing sale and offer reviews. I want to see Morbius. I couldn't. I forget the reasoning. But life got in the way of me seeing Morbius. Still to this day, I haven't seen Morbius. I'm still wanting to see Morbius. I mainly haven't heard many good reviews of Morbius, to be honest. But I still want to watch Morbius, just to give it my 2 cents. Anywho, the overwhelming memes culture that railed around mocking the film led Sony to blindly re-release the film, creating one of the funniest moments of corporate myopia in modern history. I remember that. I remember hearing something about that, so that was real. Okay, so because I do remember hearing like fans memeing the crap out of Morbius, and they thought the creators of Morbius said, "Okay, the fans really like this. They remember that shit out of our stuff. So let's release Morbius." Long ago, it was another box office failure, but I'll be happy if it comes on Netflix. Let's be real. I'll be happy if Morbius comes on Netflix. Just so I can give it at least one watch through. Just to see if I am in the majority of people saying, "Oh my god, this movie's horrible," or in the minority and say, "No, this movie is great, actually great." Anyways, getting back, I'm sidetracking here. Add to the poor reception of Venom sequel and low hope for the upcoming follow-ups, and things are looking grim for the SSU. Most fans don't seem interested in the ongoing attempts to turn Spider-Man's rogue gallery into anti-heroes. But do the Ninja Turtles have a cast of anti-antagonists who earn their solo projects? Before we get into the next topic, I've seen both Venom films, and I'm very, very interested. I admit, Venom 2 was not as great as Venom 1. I'll admit that. But I feel like I'm in the minority in this one. But I actually am looking forward for Venom 3. I actually want a Venom 3 to happen. I've heard in Venom 3 we're going to get Spider-Man versus Venom. So and that's like the major selling part for me. Venom versus Spider-Man. I mean, we got that in Spider-Man 3. But I'm very much into seeing this Venom fighting. Will it be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man? Will it be Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Who knows? Or is it going to be a different actor playing Peter Parker altogether? Or is it going to be like a different version of Tobey Maguire? Does this Tobey Maguire end up with Mary Jane? In this universe with Tobey Maguire, does Harry Osborn still be kicking around? And in that universe where Harry Osborn's around, does Mary Jane die in the final battle of Spider-Man 3? Who knows? You're welcome, Marvel/Sony. Just thought of a potential multiverse thing for you. Since now Marvel's in the age of multiverses. You're welcome. I want my money if you guys put that into motion. I want, if not money, I want to be recognized, saying, and this random ass YouTuber who is a nobody, but expecting us to give him some sort of reward. We're going to um 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 we're going to give him the recognition. Now beat it. So that's Michael Jackson said, beat it, Phil. Anywho, let's get back. And don't worry, this article will be in the pinned comments. There's one feeling everyone associates with the Turtles. And he's also the one guaranteed to make it to the screen if Paramount starts using villains. Starters the TMNT villain with the most interesting backstory, the most name recognition, and the most overall fan goodwill. The tale of Roku Saki, a ninja who grew up in intense rivalry with a fellow warrior and eventually turned to a vicious life of crime, could be a great standalone movie. Most of the cartoons and comics have taken some time out to depict the old rivalry between the men who would become Shredder and Splinter. So a full film adaptation of that would be solid. And I have to agree. If we're going to get a Ninja Turtle prequel movie per se, of course not having the Ninja Turtles yet, that would be a really good way to go. Let's see how Shredder and at the time Hamato Yoshi got at it. And let's see, and that would be a cool way to say, like, okay, Hamato Yoshi maybe turned into a rat, or he maybe had a pet rat, right? I would love to have a live action version where Hamato Yoshi gets turned into a rat, because first interaction, Hamato Yoshi was a owner of Splinter, and I'm talking about purely live action, not the shows. I'm talking about movies, not shows. Second time we got it, well, Splinter and the Turtles were pets of, essentially, of not Michelangelo. The Turtles and Splinter were pets of April O'Neil. I wasn't too fond of that. I don't care how attractive Megan Fox is. I wasn't a fan of that. I'm a fan of either the two most common ways of Splinter becoming the master that we get to know. Either be a pet rat, get mutated, or be a man who gets mutated into a rat. One of those two. And then yeah. So it could be like the Shredder. It could be like Shredder origins. Could focus around Oroku Saki, right? Splinter could be like that supporting lead, the main supporting lead. We could get like an Anakin and Obi-Wan duo, and by the end of the movie, like, sure, have them fight, and then have a scene after the credits where, if they go the route of Hamato Yoshi, kind of do what they did with the 1980s cartoon, have him get exiled to New York, and then have this blind kid, you could say that's Matt Murdock all you want, have making Daredevil be canon in this version, and he's just walking around with turtles, gets the turtles, get into the sewers, have this little montage, right? And then the turtles and Splinter, like, tripping, making the turtles go into some ooze, have them turn into, like, maybe a few weeks, have them turn into turtle babies, and have like a rat as Splinter tries to get up, turn him into a rat, or have that go instantaneously, or whatever, kind of like how the cartoon was. But my point is, that'd be cool, and I want it now. That could be a cool scene after the credits. I'm just saying. I want that as the scene after the credits if this Shredder movie comes to pass. Just saying. Anyways, let me know if you guys agree. Anyone could see the narrative merits, but are there any other feature films treatment, or blah, blah, blah. Are there any other villains worth of feature film treatment? There we go. As I couldn't English that right. Most of the turtle antagonists are either followed mutated animals or strange, oddly worldly forces. A creature like Krang probably can't carry a full picture, given his presence as an overarching villain. The Ultron and his robot likely won't work outside the role of antagonists to the Turtles. Many villains lack the depth to carry a full picture. Someone like Wignut, Leatherhead, and Armageddon, which I believe all three were introduced. I was introduced to all three with the 1980s cartoon. Someone like Wignut, Leatherhead, or Armageddon, who would need a page one rewrite to the 90-minute story. A few turtle villains lack sort of consistency, leaving most of their characters to be determined each time. Rat King, for example, has the most iterations of the Ninja Turtles story, but he's different almost every time. The Ancient Chaos guide version of the IDW comics would carry an interesting story, but the typical homeless piper might struggle. The problem that TMNT is going to run into is comparable to the one of the SSU is slowly suffocating under. If the filmmakers brought in to handle the theoretical TMNT villain movies, need to find what fans love about the characters they're handling and bring it to screen. This is a trick that James Gunn seems to have mastered, falling in love with the characters who have almost no source material and sharing the feeling with the world. Sony keeps trying to skate off the name recognition while also only using their smallest names to minimize risks. If Paramount intends to pull anything worthwhile out of their cast of characters, their characters have to overcome a difficult format. Sony has provided a series of hopeful lessons of mistakes to avoid, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villain solo movies still have an uphill battle. And I have to agree. A Roku Saki story could be nice. A Karai story could be cool because Karai is it's a daughter to Shredder. Well, in some cases, like one case, I think she is his actual daughter, Rokusaki's daughter. In like the 2012 version, she was technically Splinter's daughter back when he was a human, but Shredder stole Cry from Splinter after killing his wife. Dark story. 2012 version was a really good story. I mean, cartoon. Then there's like the 2003 Turtles, where Karai, I believe, if memory serves me right, was adopted. I'm not sure how Karai from the 2007 TMNT movie, if she's related to Karai. I mean, if she's related, if that Karai is related to the Shredder, like by blood, or if he adopted her. I don't know that full story. So they could like either have Karai, so yeah, they could go like how the Rise of the Ninja Turtles went and have her be related to Shredder by blood. They could go the route of like the 2003 cartoon where she was adopted essentially by Shredder. No connection to any pre-existing turtle characters. Or it could go like the 2012 version Turtles, where she was Hamato Yoshi's child, but it was stolen from her parents and was raised to be essentially Shredder's daughter. So, yeah, look how that turned out in each version. Karai essentially betrays Shredder, so yeah. Anyways, yeah, there's Shredder story, a Karai story, potentially a Bebop and Rocksteady, and it could have um towards the end have it where like the turtles are around, Strider's already around, and even Krang's around, and have like Bebop and Rocksteady turns by the end of the film to get turned into human. I mean, get turned into the Rhino and Warhawk we all know and love, and have the final battle be Bebop and Rocksteady versus the turtles, essentially causing the turtles to retreat, essentially making the turtles and Splinter the villains of the story, besides it being the other way around, as it always is. So that could be a positive twist if they did things right. I'm also trying to think of other turtle villains that could potentially work if they did right. Han, maybe, and how he got the purple, like how he like either founded the purple dragons or like went into the purple dragons, and built his way up to the leader, and maybe at one point before doing that, maybe the Foot could be around, and maybe he tries to go be the Foot, but realizes that not alive for him, or he doesn't want to be someone's like pet. He wants to be a boss of his own, so he essentially bumps the purple dragons or creates the purple dragons. That could be one, Han. I can't really think of any more turtle villains that could be a future to get their own standalone. So if you guys think of anything, let me know in the comments, because I would very much like to get your guys' take on which Ninja Turtle villain deserves their own standalone movie if they Paramount Plus, I think, or Paramount decides to go this route. But Strider's for sure, Cry is a maybe, Han is a maybe, Bebop and Rocksteady is a maybe as well. But Strider's a no-brainer for sure. And who knows, a Cry movie could be like a sequel to the Strider movie. Or you could have, like, you can easily set it up in the Strider movie, him fighting Cry, and then, who knows, maybe have that spring forth Cry's movie that could potentially be a sequel to the Strider movie. There you go. And again, kind of like my Bebop and Rocksteady story arc, have the turtles be the villain. And maybe, in this case, Karai and a few of the foot soldiers are too much for the turtles and Splinter, and they escape. They do an into vanish. Having us see the turtles as the villains of the story, besides the typical hero. You know, we all know they're the good guys, but see them, have us see the turtles from a different lens. And Splinter too, of course. But anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the Ninja Turtles should have a shared universe on the big screen? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I also love to see what you guys have to say. I will have this in the pinned comments down below, so if any of you guys want to reread or want to read this without me like messing up like every 5 seconds and interrupting, you guys can read. But that said, love you all. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. And thank you so much for those of you. Thank you to those of you who tuned into this video. Thank you. I'm going to stop before I boomer this anymore.